Good evening, families, and welcome. We'll begin in just one moment. We're going to allow families to join, and I'll provide you with an update on interpretation services. So we'll begin in about 1 minute. All right, so we're going to begin with sharing about our language interpretation services. And so interpreters will begin in the order of Spanish, Amharic, and Dari. If you could please share with families that interpretation services are available by selecting the interpretation button at the bottom of the screen.
Buenas noches y bienvenidos. Una vez que todos los intérpretes hayamos proporcionado la instrucción en sus respectivos idiomas, usted verá un icono que indica interpretación está disponible. Es un globo en la parte inferior en su computadora. Para el español, oprime el globo y escoja español. El icono cambia a español. En su celular, oprime el globo, escoja Internet para el audio y luego los 3 puntitos para seleccionar español. Gracias.
Thank you. And our Amharic interpreter?
ጤና ይስጥልኝ እንኳን ለዚህ ስብሰባ በደህና መጣችሁ። ዛሬ የትርጉም አገልግሎት ተዘጋጅቶላችኋል። ኮምፒውተራችሁ ላይ ከሆናችሁ የዓለም ቅርጿን በመንካት አማርኛ አምሃሪክ የሚለውን በመምረጥ አገልግሎት ታገኛላችሁ። ሴልፎናችሁ ላይ ከሆናችሁ ደግሞ 3 ነጠብጣብን በመንካት አምሃሪክ ወይንም አማርኛ የሚለውን በመንካት የአማርኛ የትርጉም አገልግሎት ታገኛላችሁ። አመሰግናለሁ።
Thank you. And our Dari interpreter?
دوستان عصر شما بخیر. به پروگرام امروز خوش آمدید براتون میگم. ما به زبان دری هم ترجمه داریم. شما اگر نیاز دارید به ترجمه به زبان دری لطفاً در پایان صفحه تان به شکل کره زمین آیکون است را کلیک میکنید و شما جریان ای برنامه را به زبان دری میشنوید. تشکر.
Thank you. And as soon as our Arabic interpreter arrives, we'll go ahead and place them in the interpretation room. And so I will go ahead and begin interpretation now. Okay, next slide, Mrs. Vincent. Good evening, families. My name is Dr. Purette Binney, and I'm the Executive Director of School Leadership. And we are very excited to welcome you to our very first collaborative middle school summit, which is a collaborative effort among our comprehensive middle schools and our 2 K-8 schools. And we are very excited to welcome Dr. Kay Wyatt here, who will do an opening greeting for our families. Dr. Kay Wyatt.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Finney. And thank you to all of our staff and team that are on this evening, and welcome to all of our families. We know that transition can seem scary sometimes, but please remember that any educational transition is a process. It's not an event. Our students are undergoing, physical and intellectual and social, emotional changes at this stage in their development, but please know that we are here for you. At Alexandria City Public Schools, we understand not only the needs of our students, but also want to express that we know our families' needs, and we're here for families as well. So you're not alone in this transition process. Please know that. We do also recognize that transition involves moving into different buildings and experiencing new routines and new social support systems. And we have staff in every one of our buildings that you'll get a chance to meet tonight who will support you with this process. So we want our students and our families to know that Alexandria City Public Schools is anchored in our school's vision of success for each student and our commitment to improving their educational experience. So welcome. We look forward to taking this journey with you, and thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kay Wyatt. And so as Dr. Kay Wyatt shared, this is one of our transition activities, one of many transition activities that we will have for grades 5 through 9. And so our agenda for this evening is a comprehensive agenda that includes middle school principals and administrative teams. It also includes support from ACPS Student Services, and also our high school, the Alexandria City High School Mini Howard campus. And so as we go through the agenda, our administrative teams will introduce themselves. We will talk about SEAL, which is social, emotional, and academic learning, school culture and climate, and substance abuse awareness, appropriate social media use, rising ninth grade information, summer learning, and then also parents, if you have questions that you would like answered, you can put your questions in the chat and we'll be answering questions throughout our meeting together. And then at the end, we will have our closing. Okay, next slide, Ms. Vincent. So as I shared with you before, we have our 2 comprehensive middle schools and also our 2 K-8 administrative teams here. And so as you scroll through the Zoom room, you can see all of the administrative team. And so we will have an opportunity for them to introduce themselves. And so for our rising 6th grade parents, just think about the middle school that you're going to, and you'll have an opportunity to see your administrative team. And then later on in the presentation for our rising 9th grade families, you'll have an opportunity to see pictures of the Mini Howard team. And we can go ahead and start with the introduction of our middle school teams. Ms. Buster Singleton.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the Middle School Summit Experience. My name is Anika Buster Singleton, and I am the proud principal of Francis E. Hammond Middle School, where our admirals are anchored for success. I have the opportunity to serve with an extraordinary administrative team. Ms. Kwanda Fudd serves as our 6th grade academic principal. Ms. Tanika Strone serves as our grade 7 or 7th grade academic principal. Ms. Kanika Dorsey serves as our 8th grade academic principal. Mr. Timothy Brannon serves as our International Academy academic principal. Ms. Annette Lee serves as our Dean of Students, supporting students in grades 7 and 8. Mr. Kobe Jackson serves as a Dean of Students, and he serves students enrolled in grades 6 and 7. Additionally, Ms. Jessica Harris is our Director of Counseling. Ms. Jacinta Collins is our Special Education Accountability Specialist, and Ms. Madeline Giblin is our Community in the Schools Coordinator. We look forward to supporting your students in this middle school experience.
Thank you. And next slide. And next, Ms. Vincent for the GW team.
Good evening, rising and current middle school families. I am Jeanette Vincent, the acting principal of George Washington Middle School, home of the Prexies. I'm excited to introduce our administration team. And as you can see here on the screen, we have Ms. Gillette, Ms. Kristen Gillette. She is our 6th grade academic principal. We have Ms. Aisha Ortiz. She is our 7th grade academic principal. And we have Ms. Muse. She is our acting 8th grade academic principal. Also shown here are our deans of students. We have Mr. Javon Perkins, and we have Mr. Kevin Malone.
Thank you. And then for our K-8 schools, we also have those administrative teams here, and we will start with Jefferson Houston first. Dr. McCain.
Good evening, families, and welcome. I am Dr. John McCain, the proud principal of Jefferson Houston Jaguars, where we are better together, and we have our amazing team with us. We have Miss Tiffany Young, our academic principal. We have Ms. Francis Fernandez, assistant principal, and our amazing Dean of Students, Jalita Brown Dunn. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you. And next we have Patrick Henry.
Good evening, ACPS families. Welcome to the Middle School Summit. I want to introduce you to the amazing and wonderful team that is very proud to be the administrative team at Patrick Henry K-8 school, where we always work hard to get smart. I'm Dr. Ingrid Bynum, and I am the principal. We also have Ande Kamen, the academic principal, Jerome Graham, the assistant principal, and Andre Pease, the dean of students.
Thank you. And as you can see, each team has a very dynamic team and very committed to being here with you tonight. And so we look forward to you reaching out and working with your administrative teams. And so integral to the success of your student and very important to each administrative team is the academic and student success of all of our students. And so Ms. Ortiz will provide families with some tips for academic and student success so that you can support your child at home. Ms. Ortiz?
Thank you, Dr. Finney. You're right. Parents and guardians are an integral part of the homeschool team. And there are several ways that you all can support your scholars' success, to include setting up a daily family routine, providing a place and a time at home for homework, check on assignments, homework, and projects. Please talk each day with your student about his or her activities. Promote literacy by reading to your child, reading with your child, and reading by yourself. And next slide, Ms. Benson. There are some more ways, lots of ways we can continue to support our children, to include limit and monitoring their TV watching, gaming, and especially that social media and computer time. Please continue to express high expectations and standards for your child's learning. Attend our parent-teacher conferences, open houses, and back-to-school events. Participate in decisions that affect your child's education. And please tap into community resources with visits to a library, ACPS resources, museums, the zoo, theater, and encourage participation in after-school clubs, sports, and art activities.
Thank you. And so two of the premier programs that each middle school has, or the comprehensive middle school and the K-8 school has, would include Where Everybody Belongs, which is WEB, and then Moving Up Day. And so each school will speak specifically about WEB and Moving Up Day. Next slide, please. And Ms. Buster Singleton, I'm sorry, Ms. Benson for WEB.
Yes, WEB stands for Where Everybody Belongs. This is an orientation and transition program that welcomes our 6th grade students. It supports our 6th grade students to become acclimated to the middle school experience. It trains our mentors, who are our 8th grade students, to be WEB leaders and support our 6th grade students throughout their first year in middle school. Our WEB leaders, they guide our 6th graders to discover what it takes to be successful during the transition to middle school, and they help facilitate that success. This year, our WEB Day will take place on August 18th from 9 to 1, and WEB Day happens in our gym, as well as our classrooms, as well as our cafeteria. Really, the students are touring our schools and getting to get a feel for our schools throughout this day.
Yeah, and bus transportation is provided for families, and that information will be shared with families over the summer. Yeah. And then Dr. Bynum for Moving Up Day.
Yes, at both Jefferson Houston K-8 school and Patrick Henry K-8 school, we have a program called Moving Up Day, which is tailored for the K-8 school environment. It is a middle school orientation and transition program that welcomes our rising 6th graders who are moving from 5th grade and our rising 7th and 8th grade students. It helps to support them as they transition between the grade levels. The rising 6th grade students remain in the same school building, and the rising 7th and 8th grade students also transition to their next grade level in the same building. All of the students will have the opportunity to meet the teachers and staff at the next grade level, learn about the upcoming courses in the next grade level, and hear about all of the wonderful opportunities that lie ahead as they rise to the next grade level. We also provide on Moving Up Day strategies for students as they are in their journey in middle school to help them be successful. Moving Up Day will occur on both campuses on Friday, June 9th, 2023 at 9 o'clock a.m. And all middle school families will be welcome to campuses to tour and attend a school-wide open house in the week of August 14th.
Thank you, Dr. Bynum. So social, emotional, and academic learning, also known as SEAL, is one of our school board priorities. And so it is one of our priorities that helps support students and helps lead them to being more academically successful, and also helps them acclimate to their school environment. And so Ms. Harris will share more about what SEAL looks like at the middle school.
Good evening, everyone. Social emotional learning is the process of developing the self-awareness, self-control, and interpersonal skills that are vital for school, work, and life success. People with strong social emotional skills are better able to cope with everyday challenges and benefit academically, professionally, and socially. The 5 competencies, self-awareness, self-management, responsible decision-making, and social awareness and relationship skills, are vital to the teaching and understanding of social and emotional learning at our school. These 5 competencies are covered within our daily SEAL lessons provided to all students during their advisory time at their respective schools. In addition, students have regular access to their school counselors, as well as other members on the student support team who are always eager to support students socially, emotionally, and academically. Your child support team consists of their grade level counselor, the school social worker, the grade level administrator, school nurse, and school psychologist. These adults are positive supports within the building to assist your student as they matriculate throughout middle school. Our counselors, as well as our teachers, incorporate restorative circles and community circles to help our students regulate their emotions, recognizing and understanding, labeling, and expressing their emotions throughout the school day. So how can you support your child in their social and emotional learning? Check in with your student about their feelings. Use the diagram listed below. Sometimes just ask them, how are you feeling? Just by color, green for great, yellow for feeling okay, orange, not so good, and red, very upset. Help your child regulate these emotions once they're able to identify them. Help them to figure out ways to show how they are feeling or take breaks. Model the behavior that you wish for your child to show. Connect with them sometimes before correcting. Sometimes they just may need that one-on-one quality time. And then support your child with responsible decision-making. Always help them think through their decisions and help them to think out and use that muscle to be able to be responsible citizens that we are producing in our schools.
Thank you, Ms. Harris. And so school culture and climate, PBIS within our schools, our deans are very supportive in ensuring that we have a positive school culture and climate. So in addition to ensuring that discipline is enforced appropriately, they also promote a positive school culture and climate. And so Mr. Keys and Mr. Malone are going to share with you about what PBIS looks like school-wide, but also within our classrooms. Mr. Keys?
Good evening. It's a pleasure and honor to present here tonight to our family. So we're going to talk about the school climate and culture within our middle schools. So what is PBIS at the middle school? It's a proactive approach to establish the behavioral supports, social culture, and preventative strategies to define, teach, and support appropriate student behavior. Attention is focused on developing and maintaining school-wide classroom and individual systems of support to meet the social, emotional needs of all students. So you say, what is the purpose of PBIS? The purpose is to establish a climate in which appropriate behavior is the norm. Apply function-based interventions for students that display repeated behavior patterns of concern, engages staff in routine reflection and data-based decision-making to guide school-wide interventions and planning. Next slide, please. So here we have a matrix or chart of some of the things that we are looking for in our students. So if you look down the left side of the chart, we're looking for preparation, respect, integrity, dedication, and excellence. And across the top, we have the settings, and the settings meaning our classroom settings and other areas of our building. So these are the matrix that we use in our middle school to direct our pride within our buildings. Next slide, please. Teaching behavioral expectations school-wide. Lessons will directly focus on teaching students how to have pride preparation, respect, integrity, dedication, and excellence through our SEAL advisory time. And during this SEAL advisory time, these are some of the things that we look for: improve student outcomes, reduce exclusionary behavior, and improve teacher outcome. Next slide. Teaching behavioral expectations in the classroom. Rules for the classroom should reflect the support school-wide expectations, yet be tailored to promote certain behavior in the classroom setting. To support the PBIS structure, all classroom rules will be aligned with the pillars of the PBIS matrix, which is preparation, respect, integrity, dedication, and excellence.
Good evening, families. My name is Kevin Malone. I'm one of the Dean of Students at George Washington Middle School. So with middle schoolers, we have to teach and reteach expectations and continue to reinforce our rules throughout the school year. We do this by presenting and defining the expected behavior. We discuss why this rule is important. We demonstrate positive examples as well as non-examples of this expectation. We also explain the consequences, or what will happen if you don't follow this expectation or rule. And then, of course, because this is middle school and our students are learning every day, we provide ongoing opportunities for practice with feedback from staff. Next slide, please. So each school has a way of acknowledging positive behavior. Some examples of this are positive referrals, roll calls, shout outs, activity incentives, birthday acknowledgements. Where I work at GW Middle School, our faculty and staff give out Prexy Bucks for positive behavior that students then get to redeem for snacks and prizes at the end of each month. Each school kind of has their own incentive system that they use for PBIS. Next slide, please. So schools also celebrate quarterly. We have school-wide quarterly events at each middle school. Some things include dances, sports tournaments, and field day festivals. A majority of our students get rewarded for their hard work and strong behavior each quarter and get to attend these fun events. Next slide. But unfortunately, at times, deans and administrators are required to address student behavior that needs improvement. We follow the ACPS Code of Conduct, which in there details student conduct, intervention, disciplinary procedures, disciplining students with disabilities, and bullying prevention.
Thank you, Mr. Malone. And so both of the comprehensive middle schools have 2 deans, and our K through 8 schools have 1 dean each. And so our deans are supported by ACPS Student Services, specifically Sherry James, who's also here attending this evening, and also Michael Diggins, who's the Executive Director of Student Services, provides support for our deans as well. And so they have been an integral part of ensuring that we promote a positive school culture and climate within our schools. Now, also within the ACPS Department of Student Services and Equity are our substance abuse services counselors. And so this portion of our presentation is informational for parents. We want to make sure that you are armed with information to know what substance abuse looks like at this age, meaning middle school through high school. And so we have Ruthie Mercado here this evening, who is going to share information with you about substance abuse services. Ruthie?
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Ruthie Mercado with Department of Student Services and Equity. I'm here to talk to you about some things that we find that affect our youth in this age group from middle school into high school. And I wanted to just share a broad overview with you and share some resources that parents can use to empower their conversation with their children. In this slide, you'll see a few statistics, what youth are faced with nationally. A few facts, resources, and an application that parents can download on their phone to help guide their conversations with their children. So a youth tobacco survey was conducted nationally through the United States during 2022. And what they found was that a lot of tobacco products were used with young students starting at the grade 6 through 8, and then high school 9 through 12. Not uncommon for students to sometimes use and experiment with tobacco products, and that can either be in the form of cigarettes, cigars, flavored cigars, or vapes and flavored vapes. So what they found was that of the 2 million students that they surveyed, approximately 4% of those were middle school students, meaning that grades 6 through 8 was the prime age that students began to experiment using these tobacco products. As a result, they also captured the nicotine experimentation with e-cigarettes and vapes. So what they found was some facts that included that the use was pretty high for this population. 85% of the e-cigarette users reported using flavored products. And flavored products can include things that are enticing for young children. Popular products such as mango, bubblegum, pineapple. Those are the more common flavors that some youth are attracted to. And a lot of times they make the mistake in thinking that these are flavored water vapor products, but they're not. They do contain nicotine in them, high concentrates of nicotine products. And so you'll see that these e-cigarettes contain different forms. They are disposable devices. Sometimes they're in small pods or in carts. Sometimes children use them, and they also have different names that they call them. So you want to be on the lookout for maybe new slang or new terms or new products that your child may have on them that may not be typical. And they can look like USB ports, they can look like highlighters and markers, they can be disguised in looking like other products so that they can be attractive to young people. More common brands include Puff Bar and Juul. And you may have seen recently on the news that there was a lawsuit against the Juul company. And so just something that you want to be mindful of if you start to see these products in and around your children and or their friends. And this is just a highlight of what those products could look like. They're colorful, they're small, they're portable, and they're attracted to young people these days. And so you'll see that the more common form of advertisement for youth is through social media, through TV and movies, and they're also exposed to it on the internet. So if you find your child that's watching a lot of movies on their phone or have social media accounts, you want to be mindful of what advertisers may be promoting to these young people. There's also a little unknown fact about nicotine poisoning because the vape cigarettes are so concentrated in their nicotine product that youth that are using these products underestimate the level of concentration in them. So one small pod or one small part is the equivalent of an entire pack of cigarettes. And so oftentimes youth run themselves into a little bit of trouble when they are using some of these carts or experimenting with them and not realizing how concentrated the levels are. And so they can experience nicotine poisoning. And nicotine poisoning can include vomiting, rapid heart rate, unsteadiness, and increased salivation. Nicotine is found, and we talked about in snuff, pipe, tobacco, tobacco plants, cigars, and e-cigarettes. Because children are also smaller, the risk of nicotine poisoning is higher because of their body weight. So signs and symptoms, if you find that your child may have ingested a high level of concentrated nicotine from these products, please contact the Poison Center hotline. Phone number is listed on this slide. Things that you want to look for are elevated blood pressure, an increased heart rate, rapid or heavy breathing, loss of body movement, balance, tremors or trembling, headaches, and dizziness. Sometimes it can also cause seizures. So please seek medical attention if it progresses in that manner. So there are other medical diagnoses that are following youth that are abusing nicotine products, more commonly known as EVALI. This was found a few years ago and diagnosed just before COVID. And during COVID, there was more development with this diagnosis as it related to young people who were using e-cigarettes and inhaling those products. They were having difficulties with their lungs, breathing problems, and required medical attention. There is a website that goes into detail from the American Lung Association on how to seek care on EVALI, how one can be diagnosed by seeking medical care through the primary care physician, and things to look for in terms of signs and symptoms if someone is using nicotine products that they're inhaling through either e-cigarettes. And that could be, again, fever, chills, coughing, vomiting, and diarrhea, headaches, and dizziness. So some more common reasons why teens and young people may experiment with products such as alcohol or marijuana or e-cigarettes is because they want to be able to experiment. It's a natural curiosity for young people. Another reason might be is because it tastes good. Again, we talked about flavors and flavors that young people are attracted to. And you can also see in the statistics that it helps to relieve stress and that they want to just have a good time. Again, not being mindful of the long-term consequences of abusing the substance. So things you want to be mindful of is have these conversations with your children about the potential, peer pressure or things that they might see in movies or in their social media platforms, that there may be a temptation or curiosity that comes with wanting to experiment with substances such as alcohol, marijuana, or e-cigarettes. So please do talk to your children about this. There are 5 tips on how to do that. One is to show your disapproval, have the conversation on where the family values stand with this. The second one is to show that you care about your child's health and wellness and that you want them to be successful. And the third is to show that you're a good source of information, that if your child is curious about these products, that's natural, and that if they want to have more information about it and not consume it, that would be a good idea to have. And there's lots of resources that you can access to have those conversations with your child. The fourth is to show that you're paying attention and that you discourage this risky behavior. So you want to have these conversations with them, ask them how school is going. Notice if they have any new products that might be in their backpack. Again, these products can look a little deceptive because they are trying to be hidden and they are trying to appeal to young people. So if you see something that you're not quite sure about, it looks like a marker, but if it has a brand name or has markings on it that are not common, you want to show some curiosity about that. Ask your child about it. And the fifth is that you want to build your child's skills and strategies for avoiding this drug use and underage drinking. There's strategies to be able to do that, and there are also additional resources. So additional resources that families can use at home with their child are Catch My Breath. This is a self-paced module that families can download and have these conversations with their children from this website. It lists tips, tools, and questions. They also have videos, and they are available in English and Spanish. The other resource is called Partnership to End Addiction. This website is a very helpful website and helps parents need to know information on what these products are, how it affects health, and understanding what the illnesses are and what the risks are for vaping and marijuana use. This is another really helpful organization that is an advocacy program that helps to empower parents and be able to lobby Congress for changes when it comes to laws and regulations. So they also have educational podcasts, they have webinars, and they also have conferences that parents can attend. There's also a little bit of information that might be helpful for parents to understand the risks of substances in the community. DEA is another wonderful resource that's available for the community. They talk about fentanyl, vaping, edibles, and fake pills. The DEA recently issued a warning that there are laced vape products that contain fentanyl in them. So please be mindful that that's also an additional risk. Truth Initiative is an organization that can provide teen support. So if a teen is finding themselves using beyond just the experimental phase and that they may be addicted because they're using it multiple times throughout the week, that there's a way to get some help to help quit using e-cigarettes or vaping products. So they can text Ditch Vape to this number that's listed there, 88709. And the other one is the smokefree.gov. This website also has tools and tips that families and teens can use to learn how to quit e-cigarettes or use of vape products. This last one is a resource that parents can download. There's an application on your phone, on the desktop, and also they have a website where they can talk to you about guides, toolkits, brochures, and informational resources that parents can use to guide the conversation at home with your children about substances. You want to be prepared, get informed, and take action. And the last one is the application to download on your phone. So if you're interested, you can go on this application and you can download it on your phone, and it helps to create an avatar. You can download questions and answers, and it has kind of like a virtual product that can help you with tools and tips on how to have these conversations with your children about substances.
Thank you, Ms. McCarter. Thank you so much. And so as it relates to substance abuse, we definitely believe knowledge is power. And so we're just providing this information to arm you with the knowledge that you need. And also another area that is very important to middle schoolers' lives is social media use. And I'm sure every administrator that is on this call have dealt with social media at some point in their school day. And so we have our two technology integration specialists, Ms. Alford and Ms. Patarini, who will share with you about appropriate social media use and how you can support your child in understanding appropriate social media use. So Ms. Alford, Ms. Patarini, thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Chanel Alford. I'm a technology integration specialist at Hammond Middle School. I'm joined by my awesome colleague, Ms. Patarini.
Hi.
Ms. Patarini is the technology integration specialist at George Washington Middle School. And we're going to talk to you a little bit about social media and how to monitor your child's safety online. The first thing I want to say is, if you're monitoring your child's safety online, the first thing you want to do is make sure they're in an open space so that you can see the computer. If they're in an open space, they're very much less likely to get on an inappropriate website. I want to reiterate that HCPS is a one-to-one district, so every student has their very own Chromebook to use for their assignments, which makes us awesome. And also, I would recommend that you check your child's browser history. And what that does is this: if you go to the top right corner of your child's screen, click the three dots and check on history, you can actually see every single website your student has been on in the past school year. What really makes this awesome this year is that they cannot delete their history. So you can always see what websites they've journeyed to. So I recommend that you also always check their browsing history so that you can know where they went. In addition, we have Securely, and I'm very excited about Securely. Next slide, please. Okay, so let's talk about Securely. Every parent in the HCPS has access to Securely, and here's what it does. It's a website, but it's also an application that you can download on your cell phone, and it actually can be filtered for each of your students, and you can actually block websites that you don't want them to go to. And it even extends during the school day. If there's something that you really don't want them to get on, let's say YouTube or maybe Facebook or something of that nature, you can go on and block it. So I think that's awesome. It also monitors activities on Chromebooks, so you can actually go to this website or the app and see what sites your child has been on, and you can block it if something has been very excessive. I also want to add that it detects cyberbullying and self-harm. So if your student types in a bad word, for instance, something to the nature of suicide, even though if they're just researching something, it actually alerts an administrator and local authorities so they can go check on your students. So I think that's a very good aspect of the software. Ms. Patarini?
Thank you. Another thing that we partner with Common Sense Media, and throughout the year as technology integration specialists, we work with our students and our families to talk about safe decisions. And Common Sense Media has some amazing resources for families. You can see right here, there's 3 areas that I'm just going to do some quick overviews about. One is about family conversations, where you're going to sit down with your child and, as Ms. Mercado really said very well, empower your students and empower the conversation, and give you things to talk about and help your students feel like they have some control and you're guiding them. So that's what we really like about Common Sense Media. The conversations are aligned with social emotional learning and digital life, and they're aligned with what we do with students at school. We teach lessons at school with digital citizenship. And like I said, they're designed to give families something to talk about. The family tips are printer friendly. They have digital citizen tips and advice, and they're in multiple languages. Some things are in English and Spanish, but there's Amharic, there's Arabic, there's multiple languages that you can use for you and your students. And then the family activities are discussion questions and short activities, scenarios that you can kind of talk about at the dinner table or in the car when you're driving to your carpool or whatever. Next slide, please. This is an example of a conversation. So they give you a full like half sheet of paper really that gives you ideas of how to start the conversation with your child. And I have to be honest, I didn't know how to start these conversations when my kids were, getting into social media. And so this really helped me just give some ideas, but also reminded me that I'm listening and giving my students and my child a voice. So this is an example of just a conversation. I think the next slide is just to show you that it does the same thing in Spanish. So I think the family conversations might only be in English and Spanish right now. I'm hoping that those resources will continue to be built in multiple languages. After the family conversations, there are the family tips. So this just gives you an idea of how to help your kids get balance in their media lives. And so just gives you, again, ideas of how to start conversations, or if you don't quite know how to set a boundary, how to start that conversation, or how to say, this is the boundary that I'm setting for you. And then finally, the family activities. Again, it gives you just sort of a time, gives you something, a way to start out the activity, something to do with it, your students, and how to wrap it up. So if you struggle to even think about how to start these conversations about safe social media use, Common Sense Media is an excellent place to start. And I think the link, you can just go to commonsense.org, but we can share links with you if you want them. I think that's it. Oh, my final thing is the Family Tech Planner. And what I like about this is it guides you and your child or your children through setting boundaries and having the conversation about how much time you're going to be on social media if you allow it. And when you get to the end of the planner, sort of you have this agreement that you can refer to. So you can say, remember when we agreed that this was going to be for 15 minutes, or remember that we agreed that in order to get social media time, you need to do this first. And I think the next slide just gives you an idea of the Family Tech Planner. And you just kind of talk through the devices that they can use, the social media websites that they can go to, and it builds. There's a planner for younger ages. Also, this one is for 9 through 12. And then Chanel.
Okay, and our final question tonight is one of my favorites. It's the smartsocial.com by Josh Oakes. It's actually a book called Light, Bright, and Polite, and it's an app guide. And here's why we're telling you about this. If you actually go to this site, it gives you four zones, and then 3 zones, and then one more idea. So the green zone are apps that are okay for students to access, of course, with parental guidance if necessary. And then there's the gray apps. Those are kind of iffy apps. They have like private messaging and things that you may not know about. And then those are the red zone apps that students shouldn't be on at all. They can talk to strangers and strangers have access to them. I'm going to give you a great example of one tonight. And then the fourth item is dangerous social media challenges that go on, and you see ridiculous things like jumping off or something, and things are intended to be silly, but could be harmful. So let's talk about this. So our green zone apps our regular apps they use every day, like Canva, to create items in school. So items that are normal, they aren't messaging anyone, and it's something they use in school every day, like Canvas or Canva. Okay, then we have the gray zone. Those are applications where you may not know what's going on. Like they may have a Netflix account that they're watching Netflix, and you may want to monitor the movies that they're watching, or even an Instagram. That's something that you may want to check on. And then there's those red zone apps. They're very harmful, and you may not know that they're on there. I'm going to give you a perfect example. If you look at your student's phone tonight and you see a calculator, it may not be a calculator. You may go on it and click on it. There may be a password you enter. And once you get inside of it, it's actually a fake Instagram account where they have separate pictures and a whole entirely different account that you didn't know existed. So tonight, here's my tip for tonight. When you get your student's phone, take a look at it and take a look at the application to see if you see two calculators, because I guarantee you there's a secret app that you may not know exists. So again, this is Josh Oates, like Bright and Polite, and it gives you examples of applications that they should and should not be on. Thank you so very much for listening to us tonight, and have an awesome night, and we'll be here for questions later.
Thank you, Ms. Alford and Ms. Patarini. And so next for our rising 8th grade parents or rising 9th grade parents, hello high school, you are about to say goodbye to middle school and you are about to say hello to high school. And so this presentation is just an introduction to Minnie Howard. Minnie Howard will be having an orientation to give you more information about high school, but this is just sort of like a teaser before you get to Minnie Howard. Our middle schoolers have already had an opportunity to have days where they've gone to the school to visit. But Ms. Bendinelli, who is the Assistant Director of School Counseling, is here to present to you about Minnie Howard. So Ms. Bendinelli.
Thank you and welcome. And I love what the team just said, empower your students and have those hard conversations. That's wonderful. So my name is Mrs. Mateos Bendinelli. I'm the Assistant Director of School Counseling and Dual Enrollment Coordinator at ACHS. Thank you so much for being here this evening. We're so excited to see our future Titans. Minnie Howard is located on Braddock Road, and I'm sure you've seen the amazing building development that will house our ACHS students in the future. Next year, Minnie Howard will have our very last class in the current building. So it's going to be special as it's been for years. Our current Minnie Howard campus will continue on a block schedule with starting times from 8:35 to 3:15. Currently, we have students that take courses at the King Street campus. They participate in extracurricular activities like athletics, fine arts, and clubs. And we do have a shuttle that transports the students throughout the day. And our students also have lockers. I know that's like a big deal in middle school, as it is in high school. Next slide. Our leadership team consists of our executive principal that oversees all 4 campuses, our campus principal, Mr. Duncan, our lead principal, Mr. Harrell, and our 2 assistant principals, Ms. Rich and Mr. Bose in Learning Academies 1 and 2. Next. Our Learning Academies consist of an assistant principal, administrative assistant, 2 counselors, and our social worker. We also have a parent engagement social worker that supports our families and our students. And as Dr. Wyatt mentioned earlier, this is a big transition for our students, and we're on hand to provide students with academic, social, emotional, and future career goal support. So this is a slide that you're going to continue to see throughout the 4 years at ACHS, and I'm sure some of you have already seen it in middle school. It's our graduation requirements. We encourage you to finish out the year super strong, and remember that you might be earning high school credits right now in middle school, so do your best. We have 2 types of diplomas in the state of Virginia. We have the standard and the advanced, and I want to point out the 4 differences. However, as soon as you set foot on our campus, you are all slated to take that advanced diploma. But the 4 differences are, you take an extra year of math, you take an extra year of science, you take 3 years of a world language or 2 years of 2 languages, and you have to take an advanced course. So as you can see, it's very attainable to get that advanced diploma. So one way that high school is different than middle school is that all of your courses count toward the graduation requirements. Throughout your 4 years, you'll continue to hear these terms like graduation requirements, diploma types, course credits, verified credits, transcript, and GPA. And some of the tips and resources that I want to share with you are to check in with your current counselor and teachers, stay after school for extra support, continue to take those challenging courses, and work hard. Don't give up. Attempt all of your assignments. We want to avoid those NHIs. Don't let the drama drag you down. Get involved in activities, ask for help, because remember that we're here to support you. And then remember to be kind to others, because you never know what people are going through. If you're interested in participating in sports, please make sure that you follow the instructions on this slide. You'll see the same information on our athletic website. And remember that your grades determine your eligibility. What does that mean? It means that you have to have good grades to be offered opportunities to play in college and to be able to play in high school. So remember to do your best. I wanted to share some of the amazing clubs that we have on campus. Check them out. There's a lot of them. We encourage you to participate. This is the way that you can meet students, do things that you enjoy, make change in your school, participate in leadership roles, and give back to your community. All of our clubs meet at our King Street campus, and there's over 150 clubs. So what to expect after 8th grade? Some of you might be interested in our summer learning program, which you will hear in a little bit. And if you haven't heard and want to check in with your counselor, they also have the information about summer learning. Our rising 9th graders will receive a tentative schedule for ACHS Mini Howard in mid-August. If you have any questions on the courses or what it looks like, please make sure that you check in with your counselor. The schedule that you'll get in August will also have your counselor listed, like this example that you see here. So all rising 9th grade families are invited to attend our Hello High School tours in June and July. Come visit the campus, come meet us. We'll be available on hand to answer questions and take you through the school. And then we will also have more information about our orientation in August. So earlier you heard me say 4 campuses. So yep, that's right. ACHS has 4 amazing campuses. This is the structure, and 2 of the campuses require that you apply to them. We have ACHS King Street, we have ACHS Mini Howard, we have Satellite, which is hybrid learning, and then we have Chance for Change, which is our alternative campus. Whichever campus you attend as a rising 9th grade student, remember that you're a part of the Titan family at ACHS. You're all special, you're all important, you're all cared for, and we're here to support you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Ms. Spindinelli. And so families, if you notice, she put 3 important dates there for upcoming meetings at Mini Howard. Some of you have put questions in the chat about Bradley concerns, and then definitely about transportation across different campuses. And those are all great questions for the high school. So I would definitely encourage you to attend those meetings coming up in June. And so our next part of our presentation, we're almost at the end, is with Ms. Burnham, who is our summer learning coordinator. Now, summer learning registration has closed, but she is here to provide you with information so that you are aware of start dates and what summer learning will be about for this summer. Ms. Burnham.
Hi, good evening, everyone. It was great to hear all about our middle and high school things coming up. For summer learning, go ahead and go to the next slide, please. Summer learning will be from Monday, June 26th to Thursday, July 20th. There'll be no school on Fridays, just like last year, as well as having July 4th, Tuesday, July 4th off for the holiday. And then the next slide. So at our middle school location, George Washington Middle School, we will be having the Career Exploration Camp, and that is for all current ACPS 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th, and 8th grade students. as well as the dual language summer bridge program. That is for current 5th grade students who will be transitioning into 6th grade next year. And then also the theater camp will be housed at the George Washington Middle School as well. The summer learning principal for middle school is Tim Brannon, and on our summer learning webpage with the points of contact, his email is on there as well. And then at the high school location, at the King Street campus, we will have our special education programs for students in current grade 6 to postgraduate for ESY and intervention, and music camp for current 4th through 8th grade students, as well as students who are needing extra credits will be at the high school as well. And then we have our special education, which, like I said, was at the King Street campus, as well as Jefferson Houston. So students going to ESY or intervention who are pre-K and kinder through 5th grade will all be at Jeff Houston for their special education programs. So the curriculum for middle and elementary is an enrichment curriculum. So students grades 5, 6, 7, and 8, because we opened it up to 8th graders. I forgot to edit that. Sorry about that. We will be using Engineering is Everywhere curriculum, and this is a very STEM-based curriculum where students will participate in different career cluster activities to build their knowledge about all the different career clusters that are available to them post graduation. And then we have our dual language curriculum, which infuses the Spanish and English language with their literacy, and they talk about various cultures and histories of the Spanish speaking communities. And Summer Bridge really focuses on their social emotional transition from from elementary to middle school. The curriculums for the special education programs for intervention will be instructed utilizing reading and math intervention, specific reading and math intervention programs to increase their reading and math skills. So it's more for remediation. And then we have ESY, which is the extended school year. And this is provided beyond the normal school year for the purposes of providing them their free, appropriate public education to students with disabilities. So as I said before, maybe we could also share in the chat our summer learning webpage and all the information, all the different activities and the STEM projects that the students will be working on. Points of contact will all be in there for summer learning.
Thank you, Ms. Burnham. And so we have answered all of our questions in our Q&A, and then we put our school email addresses in the chat. And Dr. Bynum, if you could put your school email address in the chat for me, that would be great. So if you happen to have follow-up questions for any school, each school has their own email address that we can that you can email the school directly for any follow-up questions. And so we do appreciate your time with us this evening. This will be the first of many transition activities that the schools will be doing individually. And then we'll also have opportunities where we will come together as an entire middle school comprehensive group, the comprehensive middle school, and then also the K-8 schools. And so we will continue to answer the Q&As in the chat, but we do thank you for your time. We thank you for joining us for our very first Middle School Experience Summit, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. So thank you, families, and have a great evening. I believe, Ms. Sanders, after you answer that last question, I think we would have answered all of our questions for the evening. And yes, there will be a copy of the presentation, and also the video will be available. And I'll put the answer to this question. The open house dates will be announced by each school.
Dr. Finney, if you could be so kind to share some of the
I'll say
links.
that.
I said, if you would be so kind to share some of the links that are in the chat with everyone that's still on the call. Thank you.
Yeah, I put them in the webinar chat. Or do you mean specifically to the specific parent?
To everyone, we have the option to share with host and panelists.
Yeah, I did it for everyone. Okay, I'll go back and do it too. So I did the emails to everyone. And then, yes, for the web links to everyone for summer learning, absolutely. I will take care of that right now. All right, I believe we have all of the questions. All right, families, thank you and have a great evening. Thank you, school leaders. We appreciate your time and have a good evening, everyone. Thank you, Minnie Howard. Thank you, Student Services. Thank you, Ms. Burnham. Have a good evening, everyone.